Video games are created to entertain us or to allow us to get rid of the excess stress in us. But some games, on the contrary, are designed to stress us more than to relax, especially when we put ourselves in the right frame of mind to get to the end of them. When this is the case, we are happy and fully satisfied. However, there are video games, which unfortunately have no end. Either because a bug suddenly occurs and prevents you from going any further, or because it's an eternally repetitive game, or because the end simply doesn't exist. We know that you've spent countless hours like us just to get to the final stage, and we've decided to offer you 7 games today that you've never seen the end of. Here they are. You've probably heard of Donkey Kong, the arcade video game created by Nintendo in 1981, one of the very first platform games. He was the father of the famous Italian plumber Mario Brothers, who at the time was known as Jumpman. The scenario is simple. It consists in making the main character move through 4 levels on platforms and barrels, avoiding moving obstacles in order to rescue a damsel in distress, captured by an angry gorilla, the famous Donkey Kong. But if you're one of the few people who have played the game assiduously, you'll know that Donkey Kong has 3 possible endings. The first is classic. Mario drops the gorilla to join his sweetheart. In the second, Mario lacks agility and kills himself by dropping the gorilla on him, leaving the lady alone. The third ending is much more hilarious, as Mario drops the girl this time, only to find himself face to face with the gorilla. Decidedly, he hasn't understood the game at all. The Tetris. You've certainly played there for hours and hours. Contrary to what one might think, this extremely popular game is one of the most complexes that exists since it also has no end. You can play it forever, you'll never get to that famous "congratulations, you've won the highest score of all time." This video game, for those who don't know it, which is quite astonishing, was designed in 1984. It challenges the player to make complete lines by moving pieces of different shapes, the tetraminos, which are 7 in total. These tetraminos scroll from the top to the bottom of the screen. The completed lines disappear while earning points for the player who can fill in the vacated squares again. The player must, therefore, resist the fall of the tetraminos as long as possible to achieve the highest score. Built on simple rules, the game requires great intelligence and exceptional skill. A small detail: the Tetris has no end. The player can play forever, as long as he does not lose or the platform is not extinguished, so the game will never end. This game has certainly been one of your favorite hobbies too. Pacman was created in Japan on May 22, 1980. It is one of the most famous arcade games of all time and also one of the biggest revenue-generating video games in history, having generated billions of dollars from its inception. Pacman consists of moving a small yellow round character with a mouth inside a maze, in order to make him eat all the pack gums inside, avoiding being caught by the evil ghosts. The original game was considered to go on forever, which could allow anyone to break phenomenal records. Only then, in reality, when you get to the 256th level of the game, a bug occurs, which drowns the right half of the level under a big pile of insignificant symbols, and then prevents the game from finishing properly. The Pacman game thus contains a total of 255 levels, since the 256th level is unplayable. This bug is linked to a programming error of the level counter. The information of the level number is contained in a single byte, which can only contain 2 to the power of 8, that is to say 256 information in total. Beyond that, the game is saturated. This is the video game that has undeniably addicted everyone who has played it. Super Mario Bros. Was released in 1985 for the Nintendo Entertainment System and is the first game in the Super Mario series, the most iconic in history. The scenario takes place in a fictional universe, the Mushroom Kingdom, where Princess Toadstool and her servants, the Toads, are located. The goal of the game is to save the princess from the clutches of Bowser, Mario's enemy. The player controls the friendly Italian plumber and travels through the 8 worlds, each with 4 levels. The game scrolls through the landscape horizontally, where Mario under the player's control runs, jumps, moves from the left to the right side of the screen to reach the flag that marks the end of each level. Mario moves through different types of levels, from open environments to underwater levels, trying to collect as many coins as possible on each level to get extra lives. Fans know that there are several secret zones in the game, however, most of which allow Mario to get more coins, or even skip entire worlds to finish the game faster. But beware of getting sucked into a hole that comes out of nowhere in the game, as it could take you to another hidden world that never ends and is called the negative world. Whether you enter it voluntarily or not, you find yourself in a real vicious circle. Because even if you manage to pass the entire underwater world course and arrive safe and sound at the exit will automatically take you back to the beginning of the same course. The only option that will allow you to get out of this situation will be to abandon the game and all the courses you have done since the beginning, which is a shame. If you've played Super Mario Bros., you've probably played Duck Hunt too. This pistol shooting video game, developed and released by Nintendo on the 21st of April 1984, is the first game to exploit the console's pistol, the NES Zapper, through a simulation of duck hunting and clay pigeon shooting. The objective is to hit moving targets by aiming and firing the gun at the screen. However, beyond the simple character of the game, some players have found it extremely hard. Here's why. Each level consists of killing a total of 10 targets. Depending on the model chosen at the beginning of the game, 1 or 2 targets appear on the screen at any one time and the player has 3 bullets to hit them before they disappear. And as the game gets a bit more challenging, the birds become faster and harder to catch. Yet trigger aces have managed to get past all the levels and reach level 99. Except that instead of going to the 100th level, the game automatically brings the player back to level 0, but this time it's an extremely difficult level, if not impossible to do since the ducks fly at very high speed. The dog will only make fun of the player, making the game even more frustrating than it already is. To this day, no human has been able to get past this stage. Legend has it that the dog is always laughing in his corner. Battletoads is one of the beat-them-all type games created by Tim and Chris Stamper and developed by Rare. It was released on the NES in 1991 and was later brought to other gaming platforms. Battletoads has become famous for its extreme difficulty, due in particular to the levels of racing and obstacles, and the particularly funny ways to fight enemies. The concept of the game features 2 toads, who have gone to fight the Black Queen and her lieutenants on the planet Ragnarok to save their kidnapped friends, Pimple and Princess Angelica. Battletoads was originally 13 levels long and was later deployed in several versions, but the porting had to be modified to make the game more accessible to players. And even if you're the best player in the world and think you can do all the levels of Battletoads, we're sorry to tell you that you won't see the end of it. Why? Well, here's the explanation. If you get to the 12th level of the NES game called Revolution and you manage to finish it, the transition to the 13th level, Armageddon, that confronts you with the Black Queen is seamless. So, you won't get the satisfaction of seeing the Queen destroyed. Yes, it's a pity to have lost so much time and not be able to face the Queen. But you are warned now. Snake is a video game in which the player controls a snake that grows and becomes its own obstacle. Although it was invented in 1976 by Gremlin Industries, the game only became very successful and popular again in 1998 when the telecommunications company Nokia integrated it into their phones. Since then, it has become a great classic of mobile gaming. The only thing is, this game, although very addictive and incredibly fun, has no end or at least a victorious end since in any case, even in the best case, the snake ends up dying. Indeed, a Russian internet user tried to prove that the game Snake always ended badly by playing it for almost 13 minutes. He published as an animated GIF his game reduced to 2 minutes and 6 seconds. We can clearly see that the snake's trajectory becomes more and more unlikely as it grows, devouring the pellets that dot the black screen, to the point of forming a sort of Greco-Roman mosaic, before finally biting its own tail. An inevitably tragic end for the snake. You're probably familiar with Flappy Bird, the obstacle video game released in 2013 for smartphones, which was ranked the most downloaded application in 2014. Flappy Bird's main goal was to work on the player's agility, who had to make a bird fly and move forward in a horizontally scrolling landscape by tapping on the touchscreen, while at the same time avoiding pipes on the top and bottom sides of the screen. This is an extremely simple game, which means that when the bird touches a pipe or hits the ground, the game is over. Points are accumulated according to the distance traveled, and the player receives 1 point for each pipe avoided. This game was described as frustrating because it was very difficult to reach advanced levels, if not impossible to complete, creating a bunch of completely addicted players all wanting to reach the top score. Why impossible? Well, because it simply required exceptional skill, patience and unwavering focus to get to advanced levels of the game. Even the best players in the world couldn't make it past the 100th level despite their tireless attempts. However, a video showing a user playing Flappy Bird was a big hit on the net. He managed to reach the final level of the game with a score of 999 points. He managed to overcome all the obstacles to lead his bird to victory, all this in order to reveal to the world how the game ended. When the bird reaches 999, he comes face to face with the famous Super Mario Bros., who starts throwing fireballs at him to knock him down. The bird will finally be knocked down before the player can reach the 1000 points. An incredible performance that delighted all fans of the game and made many envious. By posting the video of his phenomenal score, this player wanted to show that Flappy Bird was not an endless game created to drive users crazy. However, it turned out that this video was a great trick that was made from scratch by computer software. Now we understand the incredible nature of the case. Indeed, the Flappy Bird remains an unbeatable and never-ending game until today. Endless because we will probably never know it since its creator, victim of its success, preferred to remove it from the download platforms. So surprised? Were you expecting video games like these? Which one surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments.